Hey team, today your sauces are going to be veloute and bechamel. We're actually going to do the video for both sauces together because they're both, although they're both mother sauces, there is a very similar procedure. Alright, we'll start with bechamel. Bechamel is or the white sauce, right? Fairly easy sauce to make. We're going to need our quart of milk. Okay, salt. You need some white pepper. You got the white pepper last week on your kit. And then you're gonna need some. It calls for minced onion. I diced mine. I diced it a lot small dice, which we have right here. And I got a clove of garlic. Okay, and this is gonna be a fairly simple recipe. The idea is that we're going to. Oh, and we have some roux. Okay, your recipe calls for white roux. If you have blonde roux already made, use the blonde roux. It's perfectly fine. Most restaurants are going to have either a blonde or a white roux, or and a brown roux if they need it. So no, and actually, the restaurants I've run, we always just do blonde roux, and then if we need brown roux, we'll just take that blonde roux and continue cooking it to brown roux. So there's no problem here if you just have blonde roux, we'll use that, okay? And bechamel is one of your mother sauces. It's based off of milk, and you thicken it, and you'd be like, well, Chef Gil, what am I going to use that for? If you like really good lasagna, it's made with bechamel sauce. If you like mac and cheese, it's made with bechamel sauce, right? This is the base for cheese sauce. Also, if you ever made sausage gravy for breakfast, it's basically a bechamel sauce with sausage. Okay, and this we can go on and on many sauces that we can make with bechamel, but it's a fairly simple procedure. I have a pan here that is heating up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there, and you don't want the pan to be too hot because we don't want to create any color. We want to keep the sauce as white as possible. Okay, and we're going to put our onion in there, and all we want to do is give it a quick flip so it starts giving us some aroma. And right after that, we're going to add our milk. Okay, so usually within like 10 to 15 seconds you start smelling an onion. Okay, when you put it in the pan, move it quickly so we don't get any color. Okay, and once your kitchen starts getting pretty perfumed with the onion smell, then we're gonna go ahead and add our milk to our pan. Okay, and now all we're doing is slowly bringing this to a simmer. I shouldn't say slowly, over medium heat. Okay, we're gonna switch pans here, and we're gonna wait until this comes to a simmer. And while that's coming to a simmer, we're gonna start our velouté. Okay? Should be a pretty quick turnaround with these sauces here. Okay, I think the complete cooking time should be about 45 minutes from beginning to end. Okay, now I have another pot, and we're going to make velouté sauce. Now velouté sauce is another mother sauce. We have 5 mother sauces, right? And yesterday we worked with Espanol, which was our brown sauce, and now we're working with bechamel, which is our white sauce, and our third sauce is velouté. Okay, components for velouté are very simple. I have a mirepoix right here. I have some aromatics, so you see I have my bay leaf, my garlic, and my peppercorns. And just like the sauces yesterday that we strained, we're gonna strain these sauces today as well. Okay, and I have some chicken stock, and I also have blonde roux. I believe today we're gonna need 4 ounces for each one of our sauces. So about a cup of roux is what you need altogether. Okay, if you don't have enough roux made, I recommend for you to make your roux ahead of time. Okay. Now, to start our velouté sauce, it's going to be the very same procedure that we did for our white sauce. We're going to take a little bit of oil, put it in our pan. We're going to take our mirepoix with our peppercorns. I left the bay leaf and the garlic out. I'm going to put them in our pan. Excuse me. And we're going to sweat this fairly quickly. Okay. Excuse me. And all we're doing now is sweating these vegetables, right? Keep moving them. It's going to take just about the same amount of time that bechamel took. It's going to make them smell really good. And then these vegetables are just going to add flavor to our chicken stuff, right? And then we'll say, what can we do with this veloute, right? Veloute is many uses. You can use it just as it is, right? Which would be the equivalent of turkey gravy. So if you're getting ready for cooking for Thanksgiving, you can use this method for making your turkey gravy. If you like chicken pot pie, the filling for chicken pot pie is, chicken, vegetables, and then some veloute. All right, that's the thickening sauce or the filling that is in there, right? Or we can also use veloute for bringing a soup to consistency, right? We can create a puree of like broccoli, for example, and then add some of this veloute sauce to bring it to consistency and have that creaminess that we want, okay? Our vegetables are ready here, and then I have my chicken stock. I'm going to put this in here. And I put the whole quart of chicken stock in there, and I have my garlic and my bay leaf, and that's going to go in here, and we're going to bring that over a medium-high heat to a simmer, okay? So I have these two sauces here. It should take about, I don't know, a good 5 minutes for them to come to a simmer, and I'll see you in just a minute when the bechamel. Hey team, so here's the milk with the onion and the garlic, and they came to a simmer. Part of the reason why I told you to put it on medium heat instead of medium high is because, or high, is because a couple of things. Milk can scorch, right? So we're making sure that we're mixing it from now and then, and it's coming up slowly. And number two, milk can easily overboil, right? And that's one big thing that you don't want. Anything that the milk sticks to makes a giant mess, and I don't want you to have a bad day. So anytime that you're heating up milk, always bring it up slowly, and it'll benefit you in a way that it'll give you more time for you to get your things, or if you have other things going on. Like today we have two sauces going at the same time, so if you bring it in slow, bring it up to temperature slowly, we should be good to go. Okay, I have about 4 ounces of roux here, and what we're gonna do now, so actually gonna turn up the heat, okay, and then we're gonna slowly start putting this roux in there to incorporate it and dissolve it, right? So I'm not gonna put, just because the recipe says that it needs 4 ounces, I'm not gonna put it all in there. It'll depend on the strength of the roux anyways, which it can vary a little tiny bit, not much, but it varies a little bit. So I'm just gonna, my first addition is about half of what I have, and then I'm gonna keep an eye on what the bubbles are doing here, because if it gets too hot, it's gonna tend to overboil, and we don't want that. Okay, so we're gonna just take it easy and continue moving this roux. If I see that it's getting a little too vigorous and it's starting to bubble up, then I'll turn it down and just continue doing that game of up and down until I have my roux fully dissolved. You'll know that your roux is fully dissolved. I try to hunt it down with my whisk like so, and if I don't see any, I should be good to go. Okay, so we can add a little bit more. It's still looking fairly thin. This should look a little bit thicker. This is going to be very close to chowder. The more you move this sauce, the better, because you're avoiding that milk from coming to a boil. That's your, all right, there we go. Turn it down, turn it down. If you see it simmering like that, you'll see that it'll start foaming up and trying to get away from you. You can either continue whisking, but if you see that it's coming up too fast, the best thing to do is to remove it from the heat and let it calm down. Or you can put it halfway on the heat, and then you're creating a convection and it's heating up a little bit in one side. There we go. It's almost to the consistency we want it. So I'm going to maybe add a little bit of the roux that I have left here. I still have a little bit left. But since it's close enough to the consistency we want, and this is going to cook for about 30 minutes, I'm sure with evaporation it will get to the place where we want it. Okay. Once you have your roux fully dissolved in there, I'm looking for any pieces. Well, I see onion, which I think is right here. We're looking really good. I'm gonna keep it on low, medium low, but I think low would be good for you. I'd rather you cook it longer period of time on low and not have a disaster than cook it on medium low and it overboils and you lose your sauce. Okay? Know that there's a lot of sugar in milk, so if you leave this alone and you don't mix it, at least from now and then, it will scorch in the bottom and the sauce will pick up that burnt flavor. Okay. All right, this is looking good. So now all we have to do is move it from now and then, like every 2 to 3 minutes. Come give it a whisk. Keep an eye on it. Tends to be a traitor and overboil, and we don't want that. And we're gonna let that cook for about 30 minutes to infuse the flavor of the onion and the garlic in there, and then we'll season it, strain it, and then we'll call it good. And this is bechamel sauce. And all you would need to do after you make this, you'd be like, Chef Gil, what am I supposed to do with this sauce? Add like, I don't know, maybe for 1 quart of sauce, about a half a pound of cheddar, and you'll have the perfect cheese sauce for like mac and cheese or something like that. Or if you wanted to make a lasagna, then make a lasagna. More to you. You don't even need red sauce, or you could save it until after tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll be making red sauce, and then you can actually stack a lasagna. All right, no problem. That'll be perfect. All right, so I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Hey team, so now we're waiting for this liquid to come to a simmer. This is our veloute. I have our bechamel next door right here, and I'm keeping a close eye on it, and that's simmering as well. I'm gonna turn around and grab my whisk. I have another 4 ounces of roux right here. The same thing that we did with the bechamel, we're gonna work on the veloute. Okay, so we have our chicken stock, we have our veggies in there. It's looking happy. We're in a nice simmer. This is a little bit more forgiving than the bechamel, as it's just stock. And now all we have to do is start adding some of our roux into it, and with our whisk we're going to incorporate it in and then look for roux in the same manner that we did bechamel. I'm going to go right there, and we're basically just thickening this to a gravy consistency. Sometimes the roux tends to want to stick to the pot when it comes in right away, so keep an eye on that, because it'll, even though it's in liquid, it will burn, and then your veloute will taste like it's burning. I got 2 whisks right now, 2 hands, just to make sure that my bechamel gets a whisk from now and then. But this veloute is looking pretty good. I'm going to turn it down because it's getting a little aggressive. Okay, we're going to look for happy bubbles, not angry ones. Okay, and we know that this liquid is a little bit thinner than the milk, so it's probably going to take all your roux, and it might even need a little bit more later. But we know we're going to reduce, so this will take us to a good place. Alright, it's looking like pretty nice gravy right now. Remember that we have a bay leaf in here. We don't want to get too aggressive with the boiling, so our whole thing doesn't taste like gravy. Or doesn't taste like, no, we want it to taste like gravy, so it doesn't taste like bay leaf. Yeah, so I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to check on the taste from now and then, because we've had a couple of people that are working with this bay leaves, and we noticed that a little heat mismanagement will get our whole sauce to taste like bay leaf. Now, when you're looking in here, you're not only looking for no chunks of roux, like, see, I have a little bit right here, but sometimes you'll see some little bits of roux. You want to make sure that those are also fully dissolved, right? And now that we have our veloute fully mixed, our bechamel fully mixed, I'll show you both of them right here. Okay, our goal is going to be to watch them for the next 30 minutes and stir them, give them some love, and we're gonna wait for them to get to the right consistency, and then we'll season both of them and evaluate them. We'll talk about them, and then we'll strain them, and then they will be done. They'll be ready for anything your cooking journey is gonna take them to. Okay, so I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Alright team, it's been about 30 minutes. I've been searing this guy right here, trying to keep him from sticking to the bottom of the pan. It should have a nice consistency. It should look a little bit thicker than chowder consistency, almost pastry cream consistency, if you guys remember that from the bakery. So now all we need to do with this guy is season him and taste him. Okay, so here we go. I have a little bit of nutmeg. I'm gonna put a touch of nutmeg in here, like so. Some salt. This was just straight up milk, so we know it's gonna need a little bit of salt, like so. And then some white pepper. I have the white pepper right here. And no, the white pepper's kind of a little bit different flavor than the black pepper, and it's, to me, I feel like it's stronger. So be careful with it, okay? And the reason we're using white pepper in here is not just a different flavor, but we don't want to see the specks. A lot of people will still use black pepper just because in the American kitchen, or in the, with guests here in the United States, they tend to season their food before they taste it. So we tend to put black pepper in there so they see that there's seasoning in there and they actually taste it before it's time, okay? Now, we have this guy. We got our 2 spoons. I'm gonna taste this guy. It's good, but it needs a little bit more salt. I'm gonna go like that. I also think it needs a little bit more nutmeg. So I'm gonna go with the nutmeg one more time. That's a great flavor. You can taste the milk and the nutmeg at the very end, but it's well seasoned. Okay? Now at this point, this sauce is done, and now all we have to do is strain it. Okay? Now, a true test of the cookery of this sauce is gonna be your pan. Okay? So, when you send the photos in for your bechamel and your veloute, right after you strain it like this, I want you to show me what the inside of your pan looks like. Okay? See, mine's not burnt. It's actually very clean. Maybe a little bit of brown in the corners, but not much. Okay? That means that I have even slow cooking. Okay, and now I'm just gonna strain this guy, keep all the onion behind. There you go. Let's get as much as we can out of this. Also, when you're cooling down these sauces, don't put them in a tall container. Have them in something that's not, so it's not very deep. But one thing that you can do so it doesn't create a skin is put plastic wrap straight to the sauce. Don't tighten it on the borders of the pan, fold it back in, and just put a piece that just covers the sauce, right? And then we're still giving it some room for it to cool down properly. Okay, this is bechamel sauce right here. Okay, fairly easy. Now I'm gonna get this guy out of the way. I'm going to bring my next strainer, and here's my veloute, and you'll notice that it's a little bit thinner, but not much thinner, right? Okay. And this guy's also done. Now, a different spoon over here. We got a nice silky consistency. You see that? Pretty good. I just need some seasoning. And my black pepper. My salt. There we go. Mix it well. Perfect. Coats the spoon. Okay. Know that when you're seasoning these sauces, you want to taste all the layers of flavor without getting too aggressive. This is a mother sauce. Unless we're going to use it as is, then we're going to get it exactly to where we need it. But if we're going to use this for something else, we might want to leave some room. Because if we're adding anything like seafood to this, or bacon or any ingredient, cheese, any ingredient that brings salt, excuse me, it might affect the final product. Okay. So right now we have left is straining this guy. Okay. There we go. You can tell just by the way that it goes through the sieve that this is a thinner sauce. Okay. It still has a good consistency, it's just thinner. It should look just like gravy. Okay. My whisk wants to fly away. Clean my hand. Alright, and then when you look at this gravy, it still coats my spoon. I can still get trails. Okay. But it's a much thinner consistency than bechamel. Okay, and that's veloute and bechamel, guys. Today's gonna be an easy day. See you tomorrow.